Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where you get answers for all your stock-related queries. In a short while from now, we will connect with our experts. But before that, let's have a look at what the markets are up to because it is indeed an action-packed day, Cheryl. After a slight dip, the benchmark indices are resuming their journey upwards.
Absolutely. A very good morning to you, Shrishti. Good morning coming into the markets as well. Let's not forget the benchmark indices are rallying for a seventh consecutive session. You had Nifty that is just about 40 points or 50 odd points away from that 21,000 mark. We are now clawing back to the day's highest point that is coming in for the benchmark indices. Nifty Bank, yes, it dipped in the negative territory, but some sort of a recovery coming in at that particular counter as well. But yes, 7.4% downtick coming in from the day's highest point when it comes to the Nifty Bank. Talking about the broader markets and how they are performing in today's trading session, let's take a look at mid-cap and the small-cap index holding on to good 0.5% gain. That is your mid-cap index and small-cap index as well in the positive territory. Let's talk about individual sectors and what they are doing at this point in time. You have a CLSE downgrade coming for some of the two-wheeler counters. So on back of that, you have Bajaj Auto, Eicher Motors, Hero Motocorp, all of them among the top losers on the Nifty. Add to the list, Bharti Airtel is pretty weak in trade today. While on the flip side, you have the Adani Group stocks that continue to rule the charts, along with Wipro, ITC, as well as LTI Mindtree are the other set of gainers right now. Talking about the advanced decline ratio, pretty much neck to neck coming in for the advanced decline ratio. Talking about the sectoral indices, you have Realty, that's the top sectoral loser. You have banks, that is a bit, tad bit in the negative territory. But you have the power index that's powering ahead in trade today, that's the BSE Power Index. Energy index as well as the FMCG index, all of them holding on to good gains. Along with that, even IT index is in the positive territory. But there has been a sharp and unmissable rally, isn't it, Shrishti, when you talk about the Adani group of counters? All of them seeing spectacular returns over the last 1 week or so.
Well, yes, absolutely, and seem to be making a strong comeback in the markets, and the delivery-based buying of these counters have also seen an increase. Nikunj Dalmia, managing editor, ET Now, touches upon the impact of this particular move. So let's go across and revisit his take.
A couple of core factors which are worth revisiting. First, the comeback from that scary low. I think it's just a real royal comeback. Power, Adani Green, Adani Enterprises, Adani Port and Adani Energy. But all Adani group of companies do not have the same narrative. Some have different, all of them have different narrative. B, if one looks at the delivery-based numbers here, and which is what is, I would like to point out, post at least in this week, the delivery-based buying in Adani group of stocks yesterday was about 3.5 times more than the average. And we're looking at large delivery getting marked here. Adani Energy, Adani Total, Adani Enterprises. I'm talking about the large Adani group of companies where there is a substantial jump in the entire delivery-based buying. Now, what has changed? I guess what has changed this week is that a lot of institutional investors and HNI investors, I think they're simply taking an assumption that since Adani group of stocks represents a very large group, it's a large clutch of infrastructure companies, and if there is continuity, then the policy making when it comes to infrastructure, power, roads, cement, that is not going to change, and that in a sense is a vote for continuity. B, Bernstein's come out with a good report today where they're talking about, it's not today's report, it's a 2-day-old report, but they're talking about factors which are at play now. Promoter share pledges have come down. Bond repayment is not an issue, and valuations are much attractive than what the peer averages are. So a lot of factors have come together. The verdict of state election, vote by institutional investors for continuity, the fear of the market in terms of bond repayment and the promoter pledged, all of them have got addressed. And the price in this week itself has been nothing short of quite eye-popping.
All right, so that's the take coming in from Nikunj Dalmia when it comes to Adani group of counters. Let's bring on board Kunal to understand, is there some more room left for the rally that's underway in the Adani group of counters? A very good morning to you, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's talk about the Adani group counters in particular. They have been ruling the charts actually of late over the last 3 trading sessions as well. Spectacular returns coming in all of the Adani group counters. There have been news also that has been pretty supportive for those individual stocks. But what's your outlook coming in for each of these counters, or which one is your top pick when you talk about the Adani stocks, and more room left for an upside?
Good morning, first of all. So there are two parts to it, Cheryl. One, is we have to look at the structure for these charts over the last 1 year. Same time last year, or maybe in December 2022, is where these stocks had shown signs of a major top formation for themselves. And we're talking of the formidable names over here, right from the likes of Adani Ports, Enterprise, and many of the other group companies. To a point when the stock had fallen down significantly. I think many of the stocks had fallen down at 1 to 50% or maybe even more in terms of the price correction. Then we have to put this in the context of how these stocks have recovered. For example, Adani Ports, Adani Power, they are the ones which have recovered and managed to surpass above their previous year highs. That's indicative of a major comeback in terms of momentum. Many of the other names like Adani Enterprise is still yet to make a very strong comeback for themselves, at least compared to the previous lifetime highs of 4,000 plus for Enterprise. So it always makes sense to go with the leader stocks, even if it's a group rally. So I believe Adani Ports, Adani Power are the ones which could look attractive from current levels, and someone who has a high beta or a high risk appetite. From current levels, I think you can look out for Adani Enterprise as well. Short-term charts may look overbought, but then these stocks they tend to come out of a major consolidation on the back of an event and then continue the uptrend on a medium-term time scale.
All right. So, Kunal, if there's someone who already is invested in these counters right now, what's your advice to them for the Adani group of counters, be it not the ones that you've already spoken about, not the Adani Enterprises or Power or Ports. Apart from that, if they have something in Wilmar, or for the matter of fact, Adani Total is the one that's actually still not recovered to those high, near those highs, right? So what should they do with their investment in these counters then?
See, I think one thing is very certain, that you'll have to shift from many of these names depending on what's your cost price, how much profit you are making, if you are making any profits, and if you've assumably bought at lower levels for these stocks. And it always, as I was saying earlier, that it makes sense to shift towards the leader stocks which have shown signs of a breakout firsthand compared to the other group companies. So I think that's a better strategy, and it always makes sense to try and lower the beta of your portfolio when the markets are already going through a very strong momentum.
Okay, so that's the take on the Adani group of shares. But along with the move that we are seeing in the Adani group of shares, the benchmark indices are also scaling to new highs day by day. But what is the best case scenario for Nifty as well as Bank Nifty run up to the general elections? Know it from the market experts Kunal Bothra, Naresh Mirani and Himang Jani. Let's listen in. We spoke with them a little while ago, so let's go across and listen in what they had to say.
I think run up to the elections, if you ask me, the best case scenario would be closer to 25,000.
Oh, 25,000?
Yes.
Do you realize how far is that?
I think it's very near.
4,000 points. So you were saying that Nifty could actually rally by 4,000 points in next 5 months, because elections are in May, actually 6 months.
Correct.
So 1,000 points a month is the kind of run rate what you're talking about.
Yeah.
So you feel that we are in the middle of a ferocious bull market?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay. Kunal has raised the bar high. Anybody wants to beat that bar? Naresh?
I would not beat the bar. I'll continue to be conservative. Look at 22,500 as an upside.
Okay, so 25,000. We'll make a graph of it just for the reference of our viewers. 22,500. Okay. Okay, Himang Jani, the easy way out is that you can come in between 25,000 and 22,500.
Yeah, so Nikun, my take is simple. We are in a bull market.
Give me a number. Give me a number. Give me a number.
So you can easily see a 15% kind of an uptake. So you are at, let's say, about 21,000. So I would think that, 24, 25K is very much possible, Nikunj.
Now this is interesting, and I thought I was underestimating the market mood, but Kunal feels that Nifty could touch 25,000 in the run-up to the election. Naresh is keeping it slightly conservative, but when I say slightly conservative, he's of the view that Nifty could add another 1,500 points in the run-up to the election. And Himang Jani is saying he will not be surprised if the Nifty stays or moves between 24,000 to 25,000. And that's the point which I want to bring out in terms of the underlying texture of the market. I mean, it's like saying that the bulls are out and the floodgates have opened. And large cap stocks in a sense have really done nothing. So even if you assume that markets add another 15% from here in next 6 months, and you start from 1st of Jan 2023. So 1st of Jan 2023, you're up 12%, you add another 15%. On a 1.5 year basis, that would not be a great, fantastic out of box return. That's the limited point we're trying to make here, is that there is value in large cap stocks. Bank Nifty, how much can it accelerate in the run up to the election?
So Nikunj, year till date, Bank Nifty is just up 9%. It has underperformed Nifty. Nifty itself actually has gone up only about 14%, and part of that is, it has happened in 2-3 days, as we all know. So I think when it comes to Bank Nifty and banking stocks, there is a massive room on the upside, though it's a little high beta. I think the way it is revived, you can see banking stocks and Bank Nifty outperforming Nifty in a major way. So if we are looking at a 12-15% kind of an uptick in Nifty in run up to this elections, Bank Nifty can easily do better by 5 to 10 percentage points. So I think it can move up by 20-25% very easily.
In terms of an absolute number, then Kunal, what would be your number for the Bank Nifty? You've raised the bar higher, Kunal.
So I'll place it closer to 56,000 for Bank Nifty. So
Today
my
at
estimate
46
is
or 56?
so 56. So my estimate is around 35% from the October lows for both the indices, 35 to 36%.
Really? That's super optimistic, no?
No, I think that's on a realistic mode.
Well,
See, I strongly believe at that point, bull markets.
Why are you laughing, Hemang Jani?
Yeah.
You don't believe his numbers?
No, actually,
then why are you laughing?
No, I just overheard somebody saying that isn't that fantastic, and Kunal said that I'm being realistic. So I'm saying that with these numbers, people are taking a realistic view, which is great actually. I am also of the view that we are in for a bigger upside, and I do think that there's a lot of scope for improvement.
Nuresh, sometimes when we hear these numbers, we tend to think, and I think the expression on your face, the fact that you're just maintaining that same stance means that you are, you don't know how to react. Give me your number for the Bank Nifty.
So the case is, being a trend follower, you just ride the trend and not keep a lot of targets. But given the Bank Nifty has given a fresh breakout, so I would expect at least a 10% upside from those levels. So that number comes to around 51,000 roughly.
Okay, so what are we getting here? We are getting a number, and these are based on Kunal's and Nuresh's years and years of technical analysis. Kunal is talking about a number of 25,000 on the Nifty. Okay. He's talking about a number of 56,000 on the Bank Nifty, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And Hemang is also endorsing that kind of a number. So I hope Kunal and Nuresh and Hemang, they get it right. But that's markets for you. When large cap stocks, when they rally, and it's like a spring which has been unwound, and now that spring has been unleashed. And that's the power of a bull market. The brute power of liquidity and the brute force of momentum. It really could be at play in large cap stocks, considering the current setup for India is just so favorable.
So pre-election rally in store, the answer is big yes by all of our experts. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a very short break in this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Don't go anywhere. As we come right back, it's time to take all your stock-related queries.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all of your stock-related queries. Our viewers, you can connect to us on our WhatsApp number that's flashing on the screen. Do write to us and tell us which stock you have a query on. We have our experts today, Sneha Podar as well as Kunal Bothra. Very good morning to you, Sneha, and good morning to you once again, Kunal. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And let's rather start taking all of his stock-related queries. The first one is coming from Ghosh Dada. He's writing to us from Delhi, and Kunal, this is specifically for you because Ghosh Dada is a regular viewer and he is actually watching the show right from the start. He's mentioned that Kunal is the Rahul Dravid of share market. He's very, very happy that you've given that target for Nifty, that's 25,000. But he has a query on Genius Power. He's saying 7,500 shares of Genius Power at 278 rupees per share. He wants to know how the chart's looking right now on this particular counter.
Thank you so much for that. First of all, so I think on Genius Power, the stock is coming back towards a support point. So I think the stock in the last 2 months, I think 2 or 3 months from September highs of 285 approximately to current levels of 237. So it's going through a corrective phase. It's trying to, the correction is getting halted at current levels, but then there is no stronger evidence that we are nearing a major support or this is the end of the correction. Maybe there could be one more leg on the downside, and if the pace intensifies, the stock can come back towards 220 or even 200 mark. So I think I would probably suggest that if you're looking to buy or if you're looking to average, then I think closer to 200 to 20 range could be a good 10% band where you may look to consider buying or averaging out.
Okay, moving on then, and Sneha, the first query that I have for you is coming from N. Guru Prasad, holding 1,000 shares of Tata Steel from a price of 100 rupees. He wants a 1-year target on this particular counter, and at this point in time, should he continue to hold on or book profits and maybe re-enter again?
Okay, in case of Tata Steel, I would suggest to book profits and probably re-enter a little later, because given the kind of problems that is going on in China, probably the metal prices may remain a little subdued. So, I mean, it would be advisable to actually use metal stocks from the trading perspective and not from the long term, that is 1-year perspective.
All right, another one coming your way actually, Sneha, and this one is from Fazil, and he's divided his investment equally into HDFC Bank, ICICI Bank as well as SBI, and he's bought these counters at current levels. He wants to know, is there a good strategy or should he actually change his allocation to one specific bank?
No, the strategy seems to be pretty good, because like if we talk about HDFC Bank, HDFC Bank would is likely to consolidate a little further for around 6 months, because from FY25 onwards, you would start seeing the synergy benefits reflecting in their numbers. So probably from another 6 months down the line, the stock might start performing. In case of ICICI and SBI, so the allocation is between private and public sector banks, and I think that strategy should remain, because both the indices perform a little differently. So it's a good bet to stay invested in both.
Okay, moving on, and the next query that I have is from Imtiaz. He has shared a long list of stocks, but Imtiaz, sorry, I don't believe we will be able to take all of them. On one of the stocks, that is Tata Steel, we have already answered, but Kunal, another query is on Adani Ports, holding 100 shares from a price of 799 rupees. What's your take on this particular stock after the great run up we have seen?
Well, yeah. So I think again, if you're not a short-term investor, trader, or don't have a short-term time horizon, then you can continue to hold on. But just in case, if you are looking towards booking profits over here and then looking to re-enter, you can consider maybe booking profits closer to 1,050 mark for Adani Ports. But then I don't sense that the stock can provide a major corrective phase. So assuming if it comes back towards 1,000 mark or maybe slightly below those levels, that's a good point to re-enter.
All right, this next one is coming for you, Kunal, from Rita. She's writing to us from Kolkata, and she's already purchased Macrotech Developers, 125 shares at a price of 847 rupees per share. She wants to know what sort of a target she should eye for this particular counter, and also, does it make sense to enter IHCL and EIH currently, because given the fact that we are heading into a holiday season, does it make sense to buy these counters keeping that theme in mind?
So on Macrotech Developers or Lodha, I think that the stock has been one of the more trickier names from the real estate pack. Now I'll mention it because from a high beta sector like real estate or realty as such, Macrotech has a very moderate beta kind of beta as compared to the other peers, which means that if the other peers rally up significantly high, the stock may try to play a catch up, but it's very difficult for the stock to surpass those returns which could be gained by the leader stock. So I'm not sure what was the rationale of picking up Macrotech Developers. I am still bullish on the real estate pack from a longer term perspective. So I think that aspect you can continue to hold on. But as I said, that possibly better returns or alpha could be generated into the other peers, and something which I've been bullish on earlier, like DLF, Anantraj, etc. Coming to the other part, which is on IHCL and EIH Hotel, I would be bullish on the stocks even from current levels. But then that doesn't mean that you start buying at current levels on a full position size basis. So what you can do is maybe buy 30% of your expected quantity at current levels and wait out for those odd phases of correction to average out further.
Okay, a lot of queries specifically for you, Kunal. So let me take this query coming from Prashant from Bangalore, and he's been holding shares of Tara Raja for the past 2 years, and after that he's now at an 8% profit. How is this stock looking on the charts? Good to hold on, or maybe book out the profits after the move?
See, I think you should continue to hold on to the stock. Now, we've seen what has happened to Exide Industries in terms of the rally the stock has seen in the last 6 months, 1 year or so. I would believe that not a same proportion, but I think a similar trajectory for Amara Raja Battery could also be seen. The stock has surpassed the previous resistance of 625, 635 approximately, and it's now at 700 plus mark. So I believe that this trend would continue for the stock. You could look to stay invested.
All right, on that note, we slip into a break. When we come back, we'll continue taking your queries, so don't go anywhere.
0.5% extra interest. For more details, give a missed call on 9895096968.
The Wild Reborn.
Kia, movement that inspires.
सबका ज्ञान करे परेशान? That's why download HDFC Sky, a new age all-in-one app जो बनाए आपको अपने दम पे एक्सपर्ट, क्योंकि यहाँ सलाह वही जो आपके लिए सही। HDFC Sky, बनो अपने दम पे एक्सपर्ट।
Investment in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Experience a new Verilux progressive lens designed with artificial intelligence so it can predict your natural eye movement. Verilux XR series for instantly sharp vision in motion and seamless transitions from near to far. Verilux by Essilor.
ये है इंडिया के पुराने इन्वेस्टिंग की दुनिया। अब इन्वेस्टिंग को बदलने आ गया है कुछ सुपर। कॉम्प्लेक्स मार्केट को करे सिंपल। आ गया है एंजल वन सुपर ऐप जो इंडिया का इन्वेस्टिंग बना दे सुपर। Investments in securities market are subject to market risks. Read all the related documents carefully before investing.
Sir. Yes. Is there a wedding at Nimaji's? No. Any festival? No. So, what is all the celebration for?
Tuesday. Mangalwar.
Those who are financially secure enjoy a happier life. So keep growing your happiness. Keep investing. Bandhan Mutual Fund. बढ़ते रहो. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
हॉस्पिटल में एडमिट हुए नहीं कि बिल का मीटर चालू, और ये मीटर पहले आपके ऑफिस का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस खत्म करेगा और फिर सारी सेविंग्स। पर घबराओ नहीं, पॉलिसी बाजार पे 1 करोड़ का हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 390 रुपए महीने से शुरू। ले लो।
Trekking in the monsoon is quite a risk, so be careful.
You also take risks, Dad, don't you?
Me? I don't even risk drinking hot tea.
I'm talking about the stock market. Trade only in those products that are within your risk-taking capacity and with knowledge of that risk. Taking too much risk increases the chances of both profits and losses.
सोच कर, समझ कर, invest कर।
Helps beat sensitivity fast. Sensodyne Rapid Relief.
टिप चाहिए? पैसा लगाना है? तो सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम पे लगाओ। डूबेगा नहीं, जलेगा भी नहीं, कोई खा नहीं और मिनिमम 30 साल का रिटर्न देगा। अब इससे बेटर इन्वेस्टमेंट है तो बताओ। सेंचुरी प्लाई क्लब प्राइम, रहो बेफिक्र।
Coming up on Meet the Drapers.
We are getting entrepreneurs from all over the world Africa represents the last frontier market.
We already have significant momentum.
This is kind of like my first job.
It is a big undertaking.
Do you think it's too ambitious?
Why can't you break even now?
We can learn something from what is happening here.
It's going to all come down to this crystal ball.
Welcome back to Buy Now Sell Now, show where we get you answers for all your stock related queries. And continuing the same, the next query that I have, Sneha, is on Borosil Limited. Rakesh Bhatnagar from Delhi is holding 500 shares from a price of 186 rupees. What to do? What's the outlook in this particular stock? Is this counter in your coverage list?
Have any coverage on the counter?
Okay, Kunal, anything on the charts?
See, I think you should hold on to it if assuming you've already bought, or you may look to consider buying the stock at current levels. I think the stock is touched back towards a double bottom support or a double retest towards the 400 mark. And in the last 2 or 3 months, there have been two big chunks of volume which have happened to the stock price. And I believe that may be one of the major reasons why I would believe that the stock may try to get into a bottom formation. So Borosil Renewables is something which I believe you can continue to hold on.
All right, this one is coming in from Krishna, who's writing to us from Delhi, and Krishna is a long-term investor and wants to know about Alembic Pharma. He wants to know whether it makes sense to hold on to this counter for the longer term. The viewer is currently in about 30% loss in this counter. What's your take coming on this one, Sneha?
Okay, I would suggest to exit the stock because I mean, though whatever capacity additions has to be done, the company has done that, but somehow the benefits has not started coming in. It is facing a little bit of issues with regards to the pace of approval. I would suggest if currently in the pharma, given the kind of slow pace of approvals that are coming in, so it's better to stick with some of the the stronger names like Sun Pharma or probably Dr. Reddy, wherein the comfort level would be much higher.
Okay, Kunal, what's your take on Gland Pharma then, continuing with the pharma space, and Mahesh, who is a senior citizen from Delhi, holding 60 shares from a price of 960 rupees. Should he exit at this point in time or continue to hold on?
Well, I think congratulations. It's a fantastic price if you've bought at 960 rupees for Gland Pharma, which is very close towards its major lows for itself. Now, the only concern which is emerging for the charts on the very short-term time scale is the resistance or the dual resistance at this 1800 mark, 1800, 1850 range. Even last time around, I think the stock had topped out or formed a top closer to 1810, 1820 levels, which means that this band of 1800 to 1850 could be acting as a zone of a pause. But since you've bought at 900 odd levels, I would believe you can stay invested if you are a longer term investor, because the long term targets could be significantly higher.
All right, this one's come from Badri. Kunal, this one's for you. He has 100 shares of Penner Industries purchased at a level of 129 rupees per share. He wants to know how the chart's looking for this one. Is it a good time to actually buy some more of the counter or wait for further correction?
I'll suggest wait for maybe one more round of correction. The recent correction has taken the stock from 130 to 119 or 20 range where the stock is right now. In this process, it's formed a bearish flag on the hourly charts, which means a possible correction of another 7-8 points could be something in the offing for Penner Industries. I would suggest that if you can look to average, stay closer to 110 or 112 range. That could be a better strategy.
Okay, Sneha, any take on Canfin Homes? Pradeep Kumar has bought 100 shares from a price of 810 rupees.
Okay, Canfin Homes, he can stay invested because given the kind of buoyancy that we're seeing in the real estate market, the demand for the real estate loans is likely to stay higher. So Canfin Homes is one of the good bets in this space, and thus he can stay invested.
The next query is coming in from Neha, who's writing to us all the way from Boston, Kunal, and this one is specifically for you. She has a TC India, 1,000 shares at a price of 162 rupees per share. She wants to know whether it makes sense to stay put with PTC India or look to exit this counter and book short-term gains, or she's asking about HL, 100 shares at a price of 2,500 rupees per share. What's the short-term target?
See, short-term wise, I think 2,800, 2,780, 2,800 is the target for HAL. So I think it's another 3% or 4% off from that kind of target ranges. So you may consider, staying invested on HAL. That's Hindustan.
HAL is the counter, not HUL.
Correct. Hindustan Aeronautics, that's a stock which I was suggesting. So 2,780, 2,800 is a target range for the stock over the very short term. For the other name which you mentioned, PTC India, I think the stock is at 169. It's a very slow and a consistent mover on the upside. I think the stock in the last 12 months, 24 months, I think has gained very gradually from 80, 85 or 100 levels to 168, 169, where it's trading right now. I would suggest to stay invested over here. I believe that possibly the beta nature of the stock changes any time over the next maybe few quarters, then you may see a substantial upside even going forward.
Okay, Sneha, the next query is coming in from Abhi from Bangalore, and he wants a take on Bajaj Twins. Firstly, he's holding 25 shares of Bajaj Finserv at an average cost of 1,414 rupees, and he also has 5 shares of Bajaj Finance from a price of 7,238 rupees. Can he accumulate both the counters at this point in time, or maybe other option that he has is exit Bajaj Finserv and add more of Bajaj Finance? His investment period is for the next 2 to 3 years.
Okay, I would suggest to hold both the counters, as both have a presence in a different space. And both the counters, Bajaj Finserv is likely to do well from the insurance point of view with regards to Bajaj Finance. The app is the new app that they are planning to launch. That would be a key trigger for the stock, and that is expected to be to provide a big boost to their overall profitability. So I believe both are very good counters and should be held from a long-term perspective.
All right, Kunal, we did speak about Adani stocks right at the start of the show, and you did mention that Adani Enterprises, Adani Ports, and as well as Power, I believe, are some of the counters that you like in that space. But we have Mali, who's writing to us from Hyderabad and wants to know whether these counters are a buy right now at current price. He wants to invest a lump sum amount.
So that's exactly the point which I was mentioning, that even if you are a long-term investor or a short-term investor, buying full throttle or the entire quantity at current levels may not be a good strategy, because what happens is after such a kind of a steep, sudden, sharp uptrend, there's always a feeling of FOMO into the stock prices, and traders generally tend to buy a higher quantity over here. But the indicators are overbought, so there could be a price-wise correction, mild correction, or there could be a time-wise correction. So wait out for that opportunity or the window when these stocks go into an intraday correction. Just for example, I think Adani Ports today, I think after making a high, say closer to 1,050 odd mark, if I'm not wrong, 1,080 odd mark, has come back towards 1,040 levels. So try and take that opportunity of an intraday correction and then keep on adding further, rather than buying an entire lump sum quantity at current levels.
Okay, Sneha, another query on the pharma space. Kriti is holding 50 shares of Jubilant Ingrevia from a price of 445 rupees, and 50 shares of Zydus Life Sciences as well from an average price of 581 rupees. Should she continue holding both of these counters, or can she add more? Or rather, will it be a better strategy to exit Jubilant Ingrevia and Zydus and rather buy Dr. Reddy's? Her investment horizon is next 3 to 5 years.
Yeah, it would be better to exit and move to Dr. Reddy. So Jubilant Ingrevia is witnessing a very weak demand for its products. Even the life science division is witnessing some kind of pain. So there are a couple of multiple headwinds that the company is facing. So it would be actually better to move to Dr. Reddy, wherein the US business is looking quite promising, and even the domestic business is putting a good show. The valuation wise, there's a lot of comfort with Dr. Reddy, so we would rather switch to Dr. Reddy compared to these two names.
All right, this next one is coming in from Peter, and he wants to know whether he should go ahead and buy GIC Housing. What's your take on this one, Sneha? Do you track GIC Housing?
No, I don't track this counter.
Kunal, what's your take on GIC Housing? Do you think it makes sense for Peter to go ahead and buy this particular counter right now?
Yeah, you can buy, but again, I think you'll have to probably keep a target range on a very short-term time scale. So it's forming a bullish pennant formation. 210, I think, is a breakout point for GIC housing. My only concern is that how much time could the stock take to get into a breakout? Because if in the best of the market times also the stock consolidates, then it becomes a bit tricky of when the stock would get into a breakout mode. So that's why I would suggest keep your quantity lower. 210 is the breakout point. Above that, you can look out for targets of 225 for GIC housing.
Okay, Kunal, Nirmala wants to know short to medium term target for Container Corporation, where she has bought 400 shares from a price of 780 rupees.
So again, attractive chart from a long-term time scale. The stock has this odd tendency of getting into a strong recovery on a very consistent basis. So there is a phase or a period of sharp correction, sudden correction for a span of couple of months, and then the stock gets into a repair process where it tries to recover from that sharp corrective phase on a very gradual and sustainable note. Right, like for example, currently the stock is in that phase of a recovery after that sharp sell-off start of 2023. From a short-term time scale, maybe the stock can come back towards 820 odd mark. But then, as I said, that the beta nature of the stock is low, so it's always best to try and book profits at higher levels, maybe 3-4% profit on the stock price, and then look to buy back at corrective phases.
All right. On that note, we'll slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. When we come back, more queries on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now. Let's continue taking all of your queries then. And this one has come from Yuvraj, writing to us from Chennai. He wants to know whether it's right time to enter Godrej Properties. What's your take on this one? Sneha, do you think Godrej Properties right time to enter this particular space?
Yeah, Godrej Properties one can look at from the long-term perspective, as a company has got very strong presence in the Mumbai market, and the kind of acceleration that we are seeing for the luxury housing. So definitely it seems to be a good bet. Though the stock has seen a run-up, but still at any any corrections that we might see, one can really look to re-enter in that counter.
Okay, Kunal, the next query is coming from Philip. He's holding 100 shares of Gujarat Pipavav from a price of 88 rupees. He's a long-term investor. Good to hold on or move to any other stock then?
See, I frankly don't track the stock, but while you were speaking, I was looking at the charts for Gujarat Pipavav, and the stock apparently has done reasonably well in the last 3-4 months. I think, if I'm not wrong, it's the 4th or the 5th consecutive quarter of uptrend for the stock, moving up from 80-85 levels to 150 plus mark. It's completed a double bottom on the charts, at least on the in terms of price as well as in terms of indicators. So you can continue to hold on just on the basis of the preliminary moves of how the stock has behaved in the last 4 or 5 quarters.
All right, this one is coming in from RK and Kunal. RK has doubled his investment in the following stocks. He wants to know whether he should ride the momentum or book profits partially or fully. And the stocks are Precol, Welspun Corp and Power Mech.
Precol, I think you can look to book profits or maybe a good part of your profits over here. The long-term indicators are a bit overbought. Welspun Corp, I would probably actually expect the stock to get into a further round of momentum as well as an uptrend. It's a very strong breakout on the long-term charts. You can continue to hold on. And Power Mech, I don't track, so I'll skip that.
Okay, moving on to the next one then. And Sneha, okay, this one is a positional call by Sridhar. So Kunal, your take on ITC, one of the top gainers in Nifty 50 today. And Sridhar is holding 492 shares, 100 shares at a price of 492 rupees. Any exit level in this one?
492 rupees.
Yeah.
I think you should hold on to the stock. I don't see any reason why you should look to exit in a negative territory over here. The stock is still trying to get into a recovery phase. It's gone through a time-wise consolidation. It's gone through a price correction in the last 4 or 5 months. I think from these August highs of 490 approximately for ITC. So I would probably expect the stock to do pretty well for itself over a long-term time scale. You can continue to hold on. In case if there is any correction, say towards the 430 odd mark, which is the previous support for the stock, very good level to average out further.
All right, this next one is coming from Gayatri, writing to us on Chennai, and she's holding Sanofi with an 11% profit, Imami in her portfolio with a 15% profit, and Dabur also, she's seeing about 6.7% profit in that holding. She wants to know whether she should stay put with these counters, Sneha, or she should look to exit out of them and in fact go ahead and invest in some other counters altogether.
Sanofi, I would suggest to exit and move to Sun Pharma or Dr. Reddy. Whereas in case of Dabur and Nimami, I would suggest to stick with Dabur as the rural-based stocks are likely to do well. With the allocation towards Manrega likely to go up. So these rural-based counters can be in momentum, and Dabur would be a good fit in it.
Okay, but with this, viewers, let's kickstart taking all your stock-related queries in the rapid-fire session. And the first query is for you, Sneha. Any of your top recommendations from the new technology space? Harvinder wants to invest some money in this particular segment.
Okay, so probably he can look at Happiest Mind or Ratings. These two counters are likely to pick up momentum.
All right, Kunal, Angel One, Vivek has bought this at 2,700 rupees per share. What's the target that he can look for a period of 2 years at least?
Continue to hold on for a positional target closer to 3,450.
Okay, Kunal, Kamal wants to know good time to enter NMDC with a short-term time horizon of 3 to 6 months.
Expand your time horizon a bit and stay invested.
Sanjeev Krishnan has RVNL 2000 shares at 122 as well as Ircon at the similar price. Hold or exit? What's your take on this one, Sneha?
Stay put with RVNL.
Okay, Kunal, your take on Suzlon Energy. Amit has bought 2,000 shares from a price of 22 rupees. Good to hold or maybe book profits?
Book at least partial profits over here.
Kunal, Saregama is the stock. 377 is the buy price for Balaji. What's the short to medium term outlook on this one?
Long-term charts are quite exciting. I would suggest to hold on.
Sneha, any take on Ashoka Buildcon? Alok is holding 10,000 shares from a price of 74 rupees. Good to hold on or book profits?
Better to book profit and move to a better quality name like HG Infra, PNC Infra.
Alright, this one is coming in from Seema. BEL is the counter that she has in her portfolio at the price of 124. What will the price be by next December, Kunal?
Difficult to anticipate like this, but then I think I would be having bullish stance on BEL. Would look out for targets close to 175.
Kunal, Ravi Prasad wants to know short-term target on Mazgaon Dock, holding 300 shares from a price of 2,250 rupees.
Short-term wise, I would expect the stock to correct and maybe fall even below the 2,000 levels.
Alright, this next one that I have is coming in from a viewer who has Tata Motors at a price of 630. Should he exit or hold or buy some more? Kunal, what's your take?
I would be bullish on Tata Motors.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time's up in this edition of Rapid Fire as well as on the Buy Now Sell Now show. Thank you so much, Kunal and Sneha, for joining us today and helping all of viewers resolve their stock-related queries. But with this, viewers, it's a goodbye from me and Cheryl and the entire team who put this show together. But don't go anywhere. Markets will take the action here.